Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Monica, and in today's video, I'm going to be just going over some of my autobi authors. So these are the authors that, if they're publishing it, I'm going to read it. I probably am missing some off this list, but that's okay. But let's just get into it. So, my first autobi author is Devney Perry. We've been around here. That's not a big shock. I have a whole deep dive into her backlist. I have read every single book that she has written so far, including her latest release, which is Merit. And I gave Merit 5 stars. Like, that book had me crying because of what Maverick was going through with his mom and stuff. And even Stevie, because Stevie and her family are so close to Maverick's family that it's like she is going through the same thing that Maverick's going through, just in a different, unique perspective. I really love her stuff. For the most part, all of them work for me, and I simply adore her, and I will continue to read her backlist and everything. Another author that I have read every single one of her books, and if she comes out with more, I will continue to read them. Catherine Cowles. Absolutely 100%. I love romantic suspense. She does it really well. I even read her first book, which is Further to Fall. That one was pretty good. That was a really good start for her. And I feel like she has increasingly been just getting better at her craft as we go along through all her lists. My personal favorite, it depends on what mood I'm in, but I love Reckless Refuge. I just finished Beautiful Exile. It'll be out by the time you see this video because it comes out tomorrow, and I wish I had a physical copy in my hand to show you, but I don't, unfortunately. I have to wait till it comes out tomorrow to be able to go get a physical copy, but as you can tell, I have even her special editions if I can get them in my hands. So she's one that I collect. Same with Helena Hunting. I have been reading her since for a very, very long time, okay? So back in the late 2010s, I started really primarily reading romance, and a lot was going on, and her stuff just makes me laugh. It makes me giddy. It makes me filled with joy. I love her Pucked series. My favorite book in the Pucked series is Lance's book, and that's Pucked Off. That's book 5. And his book is so dramatic and so dramatic, and it still has the quirkiness and the humor that I come to expect from Helena Hunting. I loved her Lies, Truths, and Hearts series, or I think that's how it is. It's Little Lies, Bittersweet Heart, and Shattered Truths. I just loved all of those books. So that's another one. And I absolutely love her All In series, which starts with A Surprise Pregnancy or a Secret Baby. And you know me, I love those. So yeah, I've just read her recent one that just came out, and it's If You Love Me. Roman is one of the best book daddy boyfriends I've ever read. Like, he's such a sweet character, and he just cares so much about our heroine. And I love how she put in some social commentary about things. I enjoy her. I will continue to read her as long as she keeps putting out books. And then, of course, I have to mention Claire Kingsley. I started reading Claire Kingsley around the same time I started reading Helena Hunting. And she went from like rom-com with Lucy Score, like the bootleg spring series that she co-wrote with Lucy Score. That's how I got into Lucy Score. That's how I got into Claire Kingsley. And I love the Bailey Brothers. That is one of my favorite series of all times. I have not completed her backlist. I'm fairly close, but I'm getting there. I love her Haven Brothers series that she's currently writing right now, and the next one comes out next month, and I'm just itching to get that book in my hands so much. I really, really want that book so much. And then, of course, I have to mention Abby Jimenez. Her books will emotionally wreck you. They are just gorgeously written. I liked them all. My favorites, though, is like Part of Your World and Yours Truly and Just for the Summer. Like, her latest stuff that she's been putting out has been just so angsty and dramatic. And if you're here's some keywords. I love her characters. I love the way she writes these characters, and I think she's absolutely fantastic. She's one of my favorite. I've read all her books that she has put out so far, so will be continuing to read everything she puts out. Also, I have to say, Ana Huang. I love Ana Huang. I love her billionaire romances. I love how she writes billionaire romances. They're so angsty and just so messy and so great. My favorite is Twisted Games, which is the bodyguard romance. I just absolutely love him. It's just so good. I just absolutely love Reese as a character. He's so stoic and so just like pining for the princess, and oh gosh, I just love that book so much. I also love her newer stuff. The Kings of Sin series is fantastic. I mean, King of Sloth, King of Greed, like I loved King of Greed and how he had to work to get his woman back. Loved it 100%. I have not finished her backlist. I have her earliest series, so her first published series to go through before I get to her. And then of course I have to mention the Queen, Nora Roberts. I'm currently going through her backlist. It's going to take me forever to do this. It's going to take me probably about a year to get through all her stuff, because she has about 275 books depending. So a lot of things have been going on with my reading with her, because like it depends where you go to get where everything is. Like she has so many different series and so many standalones, and like for the In Death series, which he writes under J.D. Robb, there's some there's one book that sounded like it was just one book, but it was actually 2 books in one, so it actually cut down some of the reading that I have to do. So I'm currently kind of revamping my my Nora Roberts list, and I might just start putting that down below. So if you guys want to go on this journey with me, you can keep an eye on what I'm doing with that. So anyhow, but my favorite from her is, I have to say, I love her suspenses. Ones that I tend to reread a lot is The Witness, which Elizabeth, she is a great kind of neurodivergent heroine, and she's a hacker and she doesn't really know how to deal with life, but she does in her way, and she sees a mafia hit that happens, and then she has to go into witness protection, but that doesn't work out. It's such a great book. I highly recommend that one. The Obsession is one of my favorite books from her. I loved the opening scene. Our heroine was walking through the woods as a little girl to find out that her father, it was actually a serial killer. I was like, oh my gosh. And Shelter in Place is fantastic. I loved Shelter in Place. Legacy is really good. Hideaway is really good. My favorite, I think, is Come Sundown, and we're going to be reading that very soon, and so I'm really excited to reread that one. It was on my top reads of 2024, and for a reason. It is fantastic. Anyway, so yeah, I'm continuing my reading of her, so shall see where I get to with her. Another one that I absolutely love is Gianna Darling. She has a YouTube channel, and I love watching her videos, but I love reading her books. I need to continue on with the Fallen Men series, and I need to continue with her other series. Like, I love Serpentine Valentine. That was a fantastic sapphic dark romance. It was a Medusa retelling. That was on my top of last year. I love all her characters. They feel like real people. Like, I feel like they really exist, and that takes a lot of talent to be able to write characters like that. So they don't feel like caricatures, and I just love how she puts heart into her characters. Another author I really do need to talk about is Penelope Ward in Vi Keeland. So I started with Vi Keeland with one book that just sounded interesting. It was called The Inappropriate, and it was about an inappropriate relationship at work. Sort of. Okay. It starts with our heroine being she ends up being fired for something because the guy who was trying to get her fired was really digging for things, right? And she ends up meeting this guy in a cafe, and they end up hooking up, and he has some major trauma. One thing about Penelope Ward and Vi Keeland is their books has the best meet cutes. Like, they're really off. They're really fun. Like, they're such fun meet cutes. But then they always put something very traumatic, very dramatic in their stories to make their characters really go through it. One of my favorite ones is Dirty Letters. Dirty Letters, it's about two friends who were, they were pen pals. He was from England. She's from Rhode Island. She ends up becoming agoraphobic because she survives a nightclub fire. She just could not continue to write to him because of everything that happened. And he's like, I freaking hate you. But then she comes back after finding she was able to leave her house with her therapist to clean out her father's apartment in New York. Our heroine, Luca, she ends up finding a letter from Griffin, who was her pen pal, the British boy, and he ends up becoming a rock star. And he actually became a rock star because of a kind of a hate song that he wrote about her, because he had stuff going on when she stopped writing to him, and he did not know why she just stopped. And it was so well done. I enjoyed that book so much, and I do go back and reread it from time to time. It's one of my favorites. Another one that I just recently, well, it was last year that I read from Penelope Ward was The Surrogate. Book is like the second book in the series, but you don't need to read the first book. It is just what it is, right? Because you meet Sig in the first book, and he was a playboy. He was just the typical British playboy. He ends up getting married, and his wife dies of cancer. And in The Surrogate, his late wife's parents want to unfreeze her eggs and that were fertilized, they were embryos, and hire a surrogate to carry the baby to term so they could have a grandchild from their now deceased daughter. He reluctantly agrees, and Abby, who knows his late wife's parents, agrees to be the surrogate. And my gosh, the angst in this one. He falls for her while she's carrying his and his late wife's baby, and this is a messy one, and it is angsty, and I highly recommend this one. If I was going to give you a Penelope Ward book to start with, I'd start there. Anyway, so those are just some of my go-to authors. There's a few more that I could absolutely talk about who are either not publishing anymore or whatever. I just wanted to keep this list as short as possible, but those are some of the ones that I absolutely love. Anyway, let me know if you read any of these authors down below. If so, what's your favorite book from them? Is there an author that I need to start checking out? Please let me know that down below as well. And if you made it this far in this video and you want to let me know that you're here, please leave me a cupcake emoji, because I don't know why. Cupcake popped into my head. And until next time, my friends, happy reading. Bye.